Well, hello students, welcome back to our little episode on solving one-step equations. All right, so a couple of these are going to be familiar, but I got some wonky ones on the next slide that I'm super excited about. So let's start in the top left corner here. I'm looking for my variable, which is x, and 4 is being added to it. So to undo that, I'm going to subtract 4. So to undo adding, I am going to subtract 4 from both sides. And so 4 minus 4, those go away, and I'm left with x. They don't really go away, they just turn into 0, which is kind of like going away. So negative 10 minus 4, so keep in mind it's getting more negative, that's going to be negative 14. So let's see if it's true. Negative 14 plus 4 equals 10. And that is totally true. Fiery check mark. All right, let's check this guy. 6w, okay? So the 6 and the w being multiplied, so to undo that, I am going to divide both sides by 6. As long as I do it to both sides, it's going to stay equal. So 6 over 6 is 1, so I'm left with 1w equals negative 18 divided by 6. Now 18 divided by 6 is 3. A negative divided by a positive will be negative. Let's see if it's true. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Totally true. Fiery check mark. All right, let's come over here. The plot thickens, but my screen doesn't. There we go. G minus negative 3. When you're subtracting negative, it's just like adding, so I'm going to change this to G plus 3, because that means the exact same thing. So now I see it, so now I can solve it. To undo adding 3, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Go away. G equal, not you go away, but the 3's go away. 8 minus 3 is 5. Let's see if it's true. 5 minus negative 3 is 8. So it's 5 plus 3, 8. It totally is. Fiery check mark. All right, let's keep going. Come on. Keep it going. Keep it going. Don't stop. Oh, my variable's on the right side. Does it matter? It does not matter. But I'm going to look what's happening to the z, and 2 is being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 2 to undo it. 2 over 2 is 1, so I'm left with z. 40 divided by 2 is 20. So let's see if it's true. 2 times 20, is it 40? By golly, it is. Fiery check mark. All right, let's see what's going on here. Oh, we talked about this the other day. So negative m actually means negative 1m, all right? So negative 1 is being multiplied by m, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. Because negative 1 divided by negative 1 is 1, positive 1. So m equals 128 divided by 1, which is 128. Positive divided by a negative will be negative. So Truski. Paduski. Oh, another one. Sneaky, but no, it's not. Negative j is actually negative 1j. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 from both sides, because negative 1 over negative 1 is 1j. 15 divided by 1 is 15. A negative divided by a negative will be positive. So j is 15. All right, enough of this. Hoo-ha, funny stuff. Let's get to the good stuff. Whoa, holy beans, what is happening here? So I'm going to go to my variable side again, which is the x. I'm going to see what's happening to it. Well, I am dividing by 5. So to undo that, undo division, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to multiply by 5. Okay? So to undo dividing by 5, I need to multiply by 5, but I need to do it to both sides. Okay? So when I do this, 5 over 5 is 1, so I'm left with x equals 3 times 5 is 15. It totally works. Take a look at this. If x is 15, then 15 divided by 5, is it 3? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is 3. Panda lovers, fiery check mark. Let's talk about this guy here. Okay, g is being divided by 2, so to undo that, I'm going to multiply by 2 from both sides, because 2 over 2 is 1, so I'm left with 1g equals negative 12 times 2, which is 24, and a negative times a positive will be negative. G is negative 24, because negative 24 divided by 2 is negative 12. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. Whoa, okay. This has two-step equation tendencies, but let's just deal with it. Okay, x is being divided by 3, so I'm going to multiply by 3, but you already knew that because that's what we've been doing. 3 times 10 is 30 equals negative x. But we got to deal with that negative, so I'm going to, remember, that is a negative 1 right there. So negative 1x, so I'm going to divide by negative 1, because negative 1 is being multiplied, so I'm going to now divide it. So negative 1 over negative 1 is 1, so I'm left with 1x equals 30, divided by negative 1 is negative 30. So Truski Paduski, what is happening here? Oh, let me tell you what's happening here. So I have a half of a y. Now, a couple ways you can look at it. It's a half of a y, and I want a whole y. So if I have a half of a y, to get it to be a whole y, I'm going to use multiplication, okay? In fact, I'm going to double it. Okay, if you double a half, you'll end up with a whole y. And 5 times 2 is 10. So, let me check it. Half of 10 is 5, so a fiery check mark. But here, don't overthink this thing. Notice this. When I see my half, okay, right? I see the half. This is the same thing as saying y over 2, right? To have half of a y is basically the same thing as saying y divided by 2. It's like cutting it in half. So it looks fast, but really just let it kind of naturally happen here. So half of y, I'm going to multiply by 2. Let me show you another one. There's another one kind of like this. And I'm keeping them 1 over 3. I'm keeping at the ones because that's a little bit more friendly. This could be 2/3. It could be 7/8. And we'll talk about that another day. But right now, I have a third of an m. So to undo that, I'm going to multiply by 3. If I triple it, I'm left with a whole 1m. And 3 times 3 is 9. So to check it, a third of 9 is 3. And that is so true. All right, let's keep going. Oh, this time I have a negative in there. Got to be careful of the negatives. So I have a third of m, but it's negative. So this time, when I multiply by 3, I'm going to multiply by actually negative 3. I'm taking the negative with me. So negative 1/3 of 3. So actually, let's do it this way. A third of 3 is 1. A negative times a negative will be positive. Because I don't want to know what a negative m is. I want to know what 1m is. So 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. Let's look at that back at the original problem. Negative 1/3 of negative 27 is indeed, believe it or not, positive 9. Okay, this last one's probably the most wonky one of them all, the one that we just did. But it just takes practice. So you got to look at what you see happening to the variable, and you got to undo it. Undo it. All right, later, Gators.